Hello friends and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Mandy. I like to talk about eyeshadow, nail polish, and things happening in my real life. Today I have an update for the eyes Enjoy Your Eyeshadow project, so stay tuned. Alright, Enjoy Your Eyeshadows was created by Deb B here on YouTube. I will have her linked in the description. And this is a project she created where we are to work on our eyeshadows however we want. There is no set goal to hit pan or use every shadow. Just work on your eyeshadows any way you see fit. And each month come back, or every other month, and tell us your peak and your pit. And share with us what you worked on. So, I like to take pictures and tell you the shadows I used in each look. Last month I had a lot of looks. This month, not so much. It looks like, including today, I've only done my makeup 6 times over the last month. So let's go ahead and get into those looks. I'm gonna pull up the pictures so I know what I'm talking about. So 1 second. Okay, well, the pictures are in my phone and they're not cooperating with telling me what happened on what date. So we're just gonna go with it and work our way through it. So yeah, to give you let's talk about the palettes I had selected for this month. Each month I have a selected group of palettes that I'm working on, as well as 3 randomly selected shades from Natasha Denona. So in my Make Your Own palette from Natasha Denona, I have these 3 shades here, which is a dark brown, this bright blue matte, these are both mattes, and then this green satin shimmer. I haven't come up with names for them, but I will. If you happen to recognize what shades they are the large pans, and what palettes they may come from, let me know. Otherwise, I don't know. So working on those 3 shades, I also worked on a single baked shadow from Medusa's Makeup in Woke, and a one in Envy. And then for palettes, I have the Sapphire for September from BH Cosmetics. Most of these are from BH. The Lost in Los Angeles, the Trendy in Tokyo. From I Heart Revolution, I have the Mermaid's Heart palette. From LA Girl, I have the Surreal Dream palette. This is a new one to my collection I'm trying out. I have from BH Cosmetics the Marvycorn. It's so hard to see. And then lastly from Ace Beauté, I have the Violet Sage. So what did I work on over the last month? Well, let's get into this. The first look I did was on March 18th. I started with the Natasha Denona blue shade. This guy right here as my transition shade. And then I topped it with, from the Sapphire for September, I topped it with Sympathetic. Or sorry, my base layer on my lid was Sympathetic. And then for shimmers, I topped it with Sapphire, which is this blue here, and Sporty, which is this one here. These are all shades that were in a project, or in different projects. I will swatch Sapphire and Sporty for you. Swatch all the pretty shimmers, because that's what we all love to see swatches of. So there is Sapphire. It's sort of a blue purple, and then that is Sporty. It's a bluish silver, very pretty. And then that look for my inner corner, I used Sporty again with a little bit of white eyeliner, and then I used my purple liner sequence, which I'm not going to show you because I use it all the time. And you're probably tired of seeing it. Me too. So that was my first look. The next look I did was from the Surreal palette, And I used in my transition shade number 9, which is this dark one here, which I will swatch for you because it's hard to see what color it is. It's a dark green, which is surprising. It is the only matte, well, there are 2 mattes in this palette, and they're both really dark. So that was my transition shade, going for a dark look. And then for the lid, I did lid and shimmer because there are no other mattes. So I did shade 11. I'll just point to them first. Shade 11, which is this one here. And then 7 and 8, which are these 2 blues here. So I will swatch those for you. Ooh, where is it? It's like I rubbed my finger in there, but I can't find where I swatched it. So even though these have a shimmer look to them, they are very satiny. So the first one here is shade 11. It's sort of an olive green. And then number 8 is this sort of dark blue. And then over here is number 7, which is sort of a dusty sky blue. And for the inner corner, I used shade number 2, which is this icy blue. And that is it right there. And then I used my Kajal black eyeliner for that look. Quite dark. I think I may have also topped my lid with this color to brighten it up a little bit, but I also may have done that with this shade. It was all a very, very dark shade. Look, and yeah, for the most part, this is a pretty dark palette. So, and the only mattes are that one there and number 12, that one there, which is, I forget what color that is. That's a matte black. So we have a dark hunter green and a matte black in that palette. And those are the only true mattes. Like I said, the rest of these do have a shimmer to them, but they're more of a satin. Yeah, not overly excited about this palette yet, but we'll see. I definitely need to pair other shades with it. All right, the next palette focuses on the Trendy in Tokyo. I started my transition shade with Cherry Blossom. And then for the lid, I did Ginza. Which one's Ginza? I can't find it. Oh, the blue. And her Harajuku, which is this pink. I did this in a live stream. I remember now. It's a pink and blue look. So those are my base colors on the lid. Ginza and Harajuku. And a little bit of Tokyo Station down here, the purple. And then for shimmers, I topped that with Shibuya, which is the light blue, Roppongi, which is the purple, and Mount Fuji, which is this magenta. And I will give you swatches of those 3 colors. So those are those colors. The blue is Shibuya, the pink is Mount Fuji, and I'm moving the wrong hands. And then this is Roppongi. Very bright, vibrant shades. This one's a little bit soft, but it does build up quite nicely. And then for the inner corner, I used my Sporty from the Sapphire in September. and my purple liner from LA Girl. And those were the last shades I needed to use in this palette to meet my no pan left behind. So that was that goal met. I also met my goal on all uses on this palette. Okay, the next look I did was Sapphire for September again. And I started with the transition shade from my Marvycorn. I used this shade here called Flutter. It is just a nice dark beige cream color. And then for the lid, I went with Sympathetic, which is the blue here, and the green Confidence. And then for shimmers, I went with Sapphire from here and Moana, this teal color from the Marvycorn palette. And then for the inner corner, I did Sporty. So that was some Sapphire. And then I will swatch Moana. Put it over here. Lovely color. So I did these two colors. And then this on the inner corner. And I lined it with both my purple liner along the top lash and my turquoise in there somewhere. Okay, so moving on. It's all over the place this month. So the next look was on April 1st. I did my Natasha Denona for the blue transition shade. For the lid, I put Sympathetic, the blue here, and along with my Mermaid's Heart palette. First time using it this month, I used these two yellow shades on the end here, in the inner corner, and I used Sympathetic on the outer corner. And for shimmers, I used Sapphire from the Sapphire for September and Woke from Medusa's Makeup. Which is right there. And for the inner corner, I went back and used this light yellow here for the inner corner. And I lined it with my purple liner. All right, and then today's look, I will put a picture up as well. See if I can remember what I used. I just did this look and I can't remember. Okay, I remember now. I'm like, okay. I didn't write it down. So for the transition shade, I started with this darker yellow here. I had my speaker, my artificial intelligence randomly select shades. It selected shade number 3. So I used this one as my transition and my crease. And then for the lid, still in this palette, I used this blue, dusty blue on the outer corner and this darker teal on the inner half for the base of my look. And then for shimmers, I used from the Surreal palette, I used this shade right here, which I swatched right there. It's sort of a dusty blue-gray on the outer half of my lid. And then on the inner half for shimmer, I went with the green from Natasha Denona here. It is sort of a cream formula. And I have a hard time picking up product from it. So if you have any tricks and tips for using these cream shadows, let me know. I tried it with a brush and it didn't pick anything up at all. And so I'm using my finger and that picked up product. I found I had to like swirl my finger on it, so if that's the best tip, let me know. But there is a swatch of it. There it is, this beautiful like emerald green. Once I get it, but it's really hard to pick up. So yeah, I'm not sure I like that formula. I'm not sure if that's something I want to keep. Also, it seems to be a bit of a stainer. But that is on the inner half, and then topped in the middle, I have several different things going on. So tapped in the middle of my lid, I have this shade here, and then I topped that with this shade here, which I will swatch each of those. Of course, they're not being swatched on the same hand, which sucks. I guess I could swatch them on the same hand. That way it's easier to see. I'm running out of room on my hands. Gotta wipe everything off. Okay, so I went in with this shade from the Mermaid's Heart, and then I topped it with this shade, which is that green gold. And on the inner corner, another case of doing a lot and none of it really working. I started with the light yellow, and then I applied some of this copper shade here, which didn't really show up, so then I topped it with this shade, and then I put a little white pencil. And I will give you a swatch of the copper from the inner corner. It's a nice color, and it is quite brightening. It just, they weren't popping for some reason, and it is right there on my wrist bone. I don't know if you can see it, but that is it. So those are the shimmers I used this month. A lot of cool, some green looks, definitely a lot of green and a lot of cool looks. So is that everything? I think that's everything. For liner, I used a turquoise liner along my lower lash line, lower water line, and lash line. And I tried to use it on the top of my lid, but it doesn't really show up. So, peaks and pits. I really enjoy my Trendy in Tokyo, wherever it is. This is definitely a peak. All the colors are in here are very vibrant. They perform wonderfully, and I just am always blown away at the bright colors in here. I did use all the colors in there, so that is going to be going away. And then for a peak, or for a pit, it's a toss-up between this, which I haven't played with much. I've only used it in 2 looks. The downside is most of these shades, like I said, are quite dark. It is quite a dark palette, but I've only played with mainly colors on this bottom row, so I haven't really played with any of the neutrals, and looking forward to seeing what looks I can use. This is definitely needs something else to go with it. Tied for the pit is this green from Natasha Denona. I only got to use it once. By the way, the brown in this palette I used several times as my brow powder. It's exactly the same shade as the one I'm using it, so I met my goal of uses on that. But I'm not sure how I feel about this cream formula from Natasha, so if you have any tips, let me know. I mean, it is a beautiful shade once I get it picked up and put on my lids, but getting it picked up and put on my lids is a little bit difficult, and I need some help working with it. So if it needs a wet brush, or if it just needs to be, you know, rubbed on my finger a lot, let me know. And that's going to do it for today. Wait, no, I have to pick out palettes for next month. So hold on, please, while I do that. Let's first. So the blue and the brown in the Natasha Denona Make Your Own palette are going away, and they're going to be replaced. I'm going to keep the brown and keep the green and try getting at least 2 more uses out of it, and see if you guys give me any tips on using it. The Surreal palette is going to stick around. I am trying to do them all no pan left behind, and I only used a few shades from there, so that's sticking around. This guy is going to stick around. This is probably going to roll out. I have a few more uses on this for 50 Shades of Gold. So it's staying here for now. The Sapphire for September is rolling out. Mermaid's Heart is staying in. The Marvycorn is staying in. I'm still working on shades in here, and I still have shades in here. These shades are in projects. This is for No Pan Left Behind. I have all my uses on the Lost in Los Angeles, so it is rolling out. And in case you forgot and didn't notice, or you probably did, I did not touch the Ace Beauté at all this month, so it is staying in. So I don't think I need to bring in any more palettes. Let me see what I So we have 4 palettes currently in the Surreal Dream, the Mermaid's Heart, the Marvycorn, and the Ace Beauté. I have 2 singles from Medusa's Makeup, and then my Natasha Denona palette. I don't think I need to bring in anything else. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it at that. If anything, I'm going to bring in my Galaxy Chic to get work on that, because that rolled into a project for No Pan Left Behind. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed my content and want to see more, and stay tuned, hit the subscribe button. And while you're there, you can hit the notification bell to get notified next time I upload a video. And until my next video, take care of yourselves, stay true to you, and I'll see you, or you'll see me, in my next video. Bye.